taking the time to do this. We at Family Connection Chiropractic are working to create content and more information for members that we both serve through connection and community with local providers. Obviously, we're neighbors. We've worked together before in many different capacities, but welcome to this platform and radio show, as we're choosing to call it, visual radio show. But before we start, I want you to tell our followers, especially because we have a lot of families and postpartum and pregnant people that follow us, what you do and where you're located, and maybe the story of how we met.
Okay.
And go from there.
Yeah. Well, I'm a certified personal trainer and a corrective exercise specialist, and I specialize in pre and postnatal bodies. So I train all people, but pre and postnatal is my sweet spot. Pelvic floor engagement and awareness, diastasis recti healing, and also just strength building, particularly for postpartum bodies. It's really important to be able to carry load. You're doing it all day long anyway, so you might as well train for it.
Great.
And we are neighbors, like you said. We're business neighbors. We're in the same building and see each other in the driveway.
It's the highlight of my morning on the way out. It is. I love it. You were a big reason why I chose this space. I remember when I got shown the space and our landlord mentioned what you did, and I had known your name through the community. I was like, awesome. I gotta take this lady to coffee, and you were so lovely, and I'm so glad that we've been neighbors. And do you mind sharing a little bit about how you're different than, I think people think like workout facility, movement studio, like how are you different?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because I have a lot of people who say, well, I'm not a gym person.
Yes.
And it's like, well, I would say that 99% of my members aren't gym people.
Yes.
I don't even know what that means anymore in the post-COVID world. I hope that we've
I'm not a gym person.
changed. Well, I'm not a gym person. I don't want to go into like a big, smelly, sweaty box with a bunch of strangers. Movement Studio specializes in semi-private training, and I'm just going to give myself a little moment to explain what semi-private
That's
means.
why I was leading with the question. I want you to tell the people what semi-private is, because I think what you do is so unique and so cool that I love just gushing and explaining, like, look, this is awesome. So here. Yeah.
So semi-private, as I practice it, is private training made more affordable. So every single member that comes to their semi-private session has a unique program that's built by me just for their body, for their injuries, their pain, their goals, whatever it is.
Yes.
But it's also a progressive program. So we're in a dialogue together, we're in a relationship, and I'm constantly assessing where people's bodies are and when they're ready to progress, when they maybe need to pull back.
Cool.
But semi-private at Movement Studio means you're getting a personalized plan, and you're doing it with 5 other people, so it's made a little bit less expensive than a one-on-one private training. It's different than small group training. So small group is maybe 6 people, but they're all doing the same workout.
It's like the program prescribed workout for the day.
Planned workout for the day.
Got it.
So Movement Studio is unique in that way. We also don't offer any classes. As a corrective exercise specialist, it was always really hard for me to be instructing a group of people and know that there were individuals who needed a higher level of intervention or care, and not be able to take the time to like stop the class and adjust. And so when I opened this gym, I decided that I was doing away with classes because I really wanted to provide a higher level of service to people.
Very cool. Before we get into our questions that we like to ask people for people to get to know you, I will say that I think you and I both really, with our background knowledge, I have a lot of members that go to, and nothing wrong with group fitness, and there is a drawback, and they ask me for modifications, or I'll even in a class I would never correct, but I'll see things. I'm like, oh, that's going to be a thing later in your life. And because you and I we could go to a group fitness class and correct ourselves or give ourselves modifications, but no, we don't. Not everyone has that background. So I think it's really cool to see the fitness industry shift, especially through a specialized population. And pregnancy and postpartum, we've always agreed, is not supported in this country the way it should be. And what can we do to empower those people and our members to be able to actually heal and feel really good in their body so they can pick up their kids. Like you said, you're always lifting, you're always doing these things, so you're not having, bladder issues and leaking issues like 20, 15, 5, 10 years later.
I always tell people that what I really want for them is to, when their 6-month-old baby is 14 and she comes to mom and says, let's go surfing, I don't want you to give it a second thought. I want you to be like, yeah, let's go surfing, because I prepared for this, and we're all too grown for, I just want to have a 6-pack. Let's just have an amazing functional body that is ready for any challenge that is thrown at it.
Cool, very cool. All right, couple rapid fires for the members tonight. Favorite day of the week?
Monday. Just kidding.
Our last guest said Monday.
Well, she was lying.
Oh, got it. Duly noted. Check that out, right? She was lying. Got it.
My next answer was going to be Sunday. That's not true either. Of course, Friday. Come on. There's like so much promise of the weekend. I'm basic
Friday.
like that.
Yeah, you're very basic. You're very basic, and you have a very cool thing you do here on Fridays.
Yeah. So we do. It's called Movement RX. It's your movement prescription for the weekend. And my assistant coach Michaela runs that session. She does a great educational piece where she's doing a deep dive into some kind of mobility, and then a quick HIIT workout. That one is group fitness.
That's okay, but it's still specialized feedback, and you have modifications ready for every single individual. So it's the Movement Studio way of a Friday workout.
Right.
Avocado worth the extra charge.
Yes.
Even if you live in California, it's always around.
Are you gonna go pluck it off the tree?
Fair. Got it. Duly noted. So also what comes with her workouts is her personality, which I actually really love.
It's a package deal.
It really is.
Not separate.
Yeah, 100%. And it also, the banter in the groups also comes with the membership, which again are the intangibles that are not bullets pointed in the monthly membership. Great. What would you say is the biggest attractive quality about Movement Studio being a semi-private space and a very niche, very different? I mean, how many of you feel like we're in San Diego? Well, there's only one, Robin Taylor. But again, like pregnancy, I'm pretty sure you probably know better. You're the only person I know that does this.
Yeah, I think
and it's the Movement Studio brand.
Yeah, it's there are other great coaches in San. I've always been.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
I think that I really value relationships. And I get super invested in my clients.
Yes.
We're on like 3 and 4 year journeys with each other, So I think that's unusual. And I think a lot of times the way that the fitness industry has trained us is to believe that you go hard until you break. And then you take a big long break, and then you come back and you find somebody who will, smack you around and make you work hard. And I just want to break that pattern.
Totally. And I think as someone that has worked out here and works out here, and someone had my own journey with my body and just the space you create, mostly female identified, but have some male clients too. It's a very safe space. It's a very community space. It's a very uplifting, empowering space that I just, obviously being in sessions, I watch you and how you connect with everyone, and it's a really, really cool, beautiful thing to watch. But like you said, you are very close to your members, and they share all the things with you. And also too, postpartum, that is a very precious time, and also a very vulnerable space to come in here. If you've never worked out, if you've had stuff happen with your body, you've had birth trauma, and you create such a great space for people to do that. So I can't speak highly enough of you.
Thank you so much.
Totally.
I think that is one thing I do want to point out is that the fitness landscape can feel unsafe for people. And I think that there is no more vulnerable time than when you're putting on, tight pants and maybe you don't feel your best and your body hurts. And
Totally.
I am absolutely hell-bent on creating a space where you can show up just as you are in that moment and get what you need, not feel judged, not feel belittled, and really just start to unpack some of that stuff that's been weighing you down.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I think again, I know your background, but I think you have a really good ability and emotional intelligence awareness to know when to push somebody, know when to pull back. It's like you're a therapist, they didn't know that they signed up for it. Also, not a therapist, not giving therapy advice, but it's like an intangible that you get with Robin and Taylor movement experience. Share a little bit about your view on, collaboration. You can kind of give a little insight on how we collaborate on a group of members.
Yeah, I think that any good coach or any good practitioner in any area really needs that collaborative effect to be their best, because no one has all the answers,
Totally.
And I think particularly with us, number one, being physically so close, it's such a great union of what we both do. But even the clients and patients that we've shared in common, it's a really great thing that they can get adjusted and then come in and work on building strength on those places that you've just helped to kind of unlock.
Yes.
Because if you're just unlocking but never strengthening, then you're not going to get the same impact.
100%. And I would say the members that I think have the best, I look at across the board, and maybe you can shed light on this, the ones that have percentage-wise, yes, things happen, but it's as if you train for birth, at this athletic event for your life, you do these things. The ones that have positive outcomes and also postpartums that are healing and they feel good in their body and they're not, their friends are like, oh, I'm struggling, and they're like, I've had 2 or 3 clients recently say like they were doing things leading up, they were either here or at another gym that was very birth centered, they got adjusted regularly, and their postpartum has been really phenomenal. It's like the work that you're doing leading up to birth and this event of your body really shifting, postpartum, again, sets you up for success.
Yeah.
Because this 9 months takes such a change physiologically, if you're doing the routines early on or when you get pregnant and throughout, it just sets you up for a world of difference in your life. Which not only pain, it's like the effect of what you can actually do in your life.
Yeah.
Now you're surfing with your older kids when you just gave birth, 6 months later, and you feel good about it. It's not this struggle in your body, and it's not this mental thing that you have to get past.
Well, and I think you said it exactly right when you said you're practicing something, you're getting ready.
Sure.
There's nothing magical about what we're doing.
No.
It's science. It's pretty empirically validated. It's about consistency. It's
right,
like
the routine
anything else
that
in
happens.
life. You're also, I think, the work that we do individually and we do together is really about asking people to listen closely to their bodies.
Totally.
And so
empower them to know their body.
Yeah. And if you're listening close,
Yeah.
you know when things feel good, you know when things don't, you
Yes.
can make adjustments.
Yes, and I think too, one of my biggest, I had a new member intake yesterday, and I just said one of our biggest things here is listening to your body. Because you start to get clients that ask a lot of questions, and it's almost like this pre-frame of, I put it back on them. I was like, well, where do you feel when you think about this? Or how do you feel in your body when you think about this? And I think, again, it's that like intangible experience that you get with you in our office that we don't just adjust our office. You don't just get a workout and leave and go home. There's like these conversations that really, really can shape your journey in healing your body or getting stronger for birth or both. That comes with our experience and how we approach things. And at the end of the day, the more you can do to empower your body to know it on that day of birth, like it's really an innate experience. It's not this like outside-in experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. What would you say has been the greatest challenge/growth opportunity in owning a business pre-COVID, and also shifting your brand a little bit of what you're focusing on and how you position yourself next?
What that challenge did for me in my entrepreneurial growth mindset was exponential. Like I think I am mentally so I'm 2 years in business. I'm actually like probably at a 5-year level in terms of how I think about my business and how I pivot and how I see challenges. So it accelerated my personal growth. That's been the biggest thing for me. It was just like learning how to be a business owner when really what I am is a coach. I'm not a business owner.
Yeah, but you are.
Now I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are two different hats. So it's challenging. If you have someone who owns a brick and mortar in your life and they also wear another hat in that business, like give them a big kiss, because it's a lot, only if you know them and they're COVID safe.
And also, like, acceptable and open to that.
I guess you'd have to ask first.
Yeah, permission.
But
Consent's important.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My point is, it's
yes.
hard. And
Yeah,
people
it's
make
really
it look easy and seamless, and that doesn't mean it is. Took a lot of work to
Yeah.
make it look that way.
Yeah, I would say your Instagram makes it look very seamless. Your Instagram is great. If you don't follow her, you need to follow her. It's funny, it's real, it's great, it's very honest, and you always do a great job with your words.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
having fun with it. I mean, I told you my mantra is no one's watching anyway, so I'll just act a fool.
And then how does it feel when people say, like, I saw you on social media and I saw your stuff? You're like, oh, got it. Got it. Totally noted. What has been your experience with growing a team here? And expansion and having more members and what that looks like? Because your routine is very semi-private, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, so it's like, how do you keep pivoting? But yeah, share a little bit about what's going on in Movement, what's the latest news?
Yeah, well, I was accepted as an internship site for San Diego State's Department of
San Diego
Kinesiology.
State Department of Kinesiology.
And so what that means is that every semester I accept just one intern,
Cool.
and it's an educational opportunity for them. It's an educational opportunity for me to learn from them.
Oh yeah.
But it's also been really nice because our intern from last semester was just amazing and is coming on as an assistant coach.
Cool.
She's starting her own semi-privates. I don't work in the evenings because my other job is as a mom, and my evenings are for my family.
Yeah.
And so she's taken over that evening role because it's a really important time for a lot of people.
Sure,
you
that
know?
don't have kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
So she's great and brings a whole nother perspective. She was an athlete who was injured in a drunk driving accident, and it kind of ruined her swimming career. And she's been on a long journey of rehabilitation and injury repair, a lot of bravery, a lot of facing some scary stuff. But I tell her all the time, I really think that that's what makes her a great coach, and able to really empathize with her clients. So that's been great.
Cool.
And we also have Coach Kristen, who is a kettlebell expert, been kind of a leader in kettlebell in San Diego for a long time.
Very cool.
And she does specialty clinics in kettlebell, so if you've ever wanted to feel like a total badass under a big heavy piece of steel, she's the person to watch here at MVMNT Studio. But she does more specialty stuff.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Share a little bit about biggest, you would say, prenatal or postpartum challenge that people come to. Do people come to you? In my world, very few people come to me like, I'm here to add this to my birth routine. There's always like, I'm always like, oh my God, nothing going on. They're like, no, I just know this is good for birth. I'm like, great. Very rare, right? There's always usually a symptom and there's something missing that they're looking for, which is what I'm always honored to serve. So what would you say is the biggest, top two maybe issues or challenges that members come to you with?
Like you, I get really excited, particularly if I have someone come to me pre-conception.
Same.
And they're like, oh, I want to get pregnant sometime in the next year or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
The whole world opens up now, right?
Yeah.
And you can learn about your body and how to use it for you, not against you.
Totally.
I do get pregnant clients, and we train for labor, and we learn how to use the breath and your muscles.
What's your line that you should have t-shirts here for?
Oh shit, what is it?
With the breath.
Oh, do I say that?
Yeah, all the time. That's like your line that everyone, when I work out here, then we come on guys, with the breath, or with, like, come on Katie, like, that's like shirt, quote, Robin.
For me?
Sure, I'll do it. I'll get the girl, everyone in on it, and we'll make hats, and it'll be like a fan club thing, yeah. Remember, yeah. So,
yeah. It's true though. I mean, we all fall into that
Breath,
faulty
yeah.
breath pattern of holding our breath.
Or chest breathing.
Or chest breathing.
Yeah.
And so it's exciting when there's a pregnant woman and we can kind of start working on that and really get her thinking about how she's going to breathe in labor, and how her muscles are going to work for her to facilitate birth.
Yeah.
Postnatally, it's about digging deep, unpacking that stuff that you've kind of put off for years and years, probably while you were attending to your kids. Healing a diastasis, pelvic floor awareness is a big one. And I always say, you know, I'm specially trained in diastasis and core engagement, and pelvic floor is included in core. But there are lots of things that are outside of my scope of practice, and I have no second thoughts about referring out to the different PTs that we, pelvic floor PTs that we use. And my number one goal is that you feel great in your body. And I hope I'm the coach to do that for you and the professional to do that for you. But if I'm not, I'm going to give you the resources you need to get supportive care.
Yeah, very cool. What has been the journey with, and I think it takes time, like within the birth health community, to find the people that, like I reflect on like my journey and being in practice almost 5 years now. The people I refer to now, some of them moved, you know, but again, like I met you my 4th and 5th year of practice. I didn't meet you my 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Do you feel like over time you've found people that, again, value system, collaborative care, you know, being able to actually go back and forth about a member in the same way or same mindset or what have you? What has been your process with, you know, finding those people, and then how did you find them?
I'm noticing a big shift in how people approach their pregnancy, postpartum time. I've been a coach for 7 years now, and people didn't used to talk about this. It was like, I'm gonna do CrossFit until my uterus is falling out, and then I'm gonna like be so depressed because my uterus is falling out. I'm being pejorative, but you know what I mean. Because it can be really painful for people. But there is a shift happening, and it's only been in the last couple years where people are looking at pregnancy, labor, recovery from this like kind of holistic view, and they're bringing in all these different professionals to help support their body and that journey. It's so cool. Like it's the way we should do it. And my deepest hope is that like mainline healthcare can get on board with
like
what people
you
are doing.
HSA would accept what you do. Fortunately, they accept what I do because I'm categorized as a healthcare provider, but there could be some certification or some sort of entity that you fall under with a specialty, because 100%, like, it's nuts to me sometimes. And I know the OBs they like say these things like, don't do anything until 6 weeks. I'm like, you could breathe, you can like do, like there's no, and this, you know, in touch with your body, health, fitness world and the OB world, I wish that could be like a whole nother bridge to try to gap and like collaborative care to get on board with. Because I think, and I've noticed it's usually the younger OBs that are like, yeah, go to chiropractic, go to like a fitness coach and a workout specialist that knows postpartum, like this is super important. And then they tell their members that, and I always usually try to ask the members like, you know, like what has been your experience with your OB, just so I can get a sense of like where that world is. And I think nothing, again, things changed, like the fitness industry has shifted, chiropractic, like to get on board with this trend and how can we, I think that could be like a really good conversation of how do we like bridge this gap to try to educate. And then them educate us too, because I'm sure they have stuff to share too around like warning signs, like, hey, this is like, you know, to help us and what have you. And it's, I would say that's like the big next mountain for like our health and wellness community.
One of the most powerful client experiences that I've had, I had a woman who was referred to me by her midwife, and she, I guess at this point she was probably in her 7th month, and she came in one morning and she looked terrible. I could just tell that something had shifted. And her face was really puffy, her ankles were puffy, she just wasn't feeling well. And I texted the midwife and I just said, hey, I have her here. She's not looking good to me. You know, what do you recommend? And she just said, have her call me immediately. And thankfully, I was going down the path of, gosh, could she be preeclamptic at this point? She had a really bad headache, all that stuff.
Not that you have a cystoscope or a doc back.
Nope, but I'm a mother who
Yes.
had preeclampsia when I was pregnant, so I knew some of those warning signs.
Sure.
But she was able to go right in to see her midwife after our session, and without that collaborative piece,
Yes.
she might have gone home and suffered needlessly. If nothing else, she was able to be seen, had some hands-on and a little bit more care. That's the power, and like we've experienced with our clients, you know, a faster labor, a better recovery.
A smoother labor.
When people are communicating, when professionals are communicating, it's only going to lead to enhanced outcomes for that person.
Yeah, completely. And I think our neighborhood, I would say I have maybe half of our pregnant and postpartum members are from, you know, maybe this neighborhood or what have you. And but I know this community is a lot of families, a lot of people, younger families, starting families and getting pregnant. And I think some of our most, you know, powerful experiences with clients have been the ones that come to us both that live in this community,
Yeah.
and they're connected through other things in the world. And then they move and they're still remembered because of now virtual, and having done that in COVID,
Yeah.
and now you still have a connection with them. And I imagine your program, or there's like a virtual setup that you have with them, which is so cool, because again, people feel connected here, and they would leave something like, you know, a group fitness chain and go to in this city and go to that group fitness chain instead of having like someone that knows their body the entire time. Yeah. And I think there are people that, you know, that not in the pregnant postpartum population can go to those things and be okay and didn't have crazy injuries as a kid or what have you, and aren't pregnant or postpartum. But I think we serve a niche that's important, and continuing to educate people that are trying to start a family in that way, so our bodies can feel really good our whole life and feel empowered and feel connected to birth, and have, you know, people research cars more than they research birth.
Yeah.
Like, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. You know, and it's like just empowering people with options. I would say, from the experience of just your conversations that I've overheard with clients in the open space, we both, I think, have no qualms about how you birth. No like agendas, like we just want to give you options and connect you with other people, but make sure you feel super safe and like, I'm a boss ass.
Yep.
Like, I'm gonna do this.
Yep.
Like, you just want to make sure you feel really great on that day.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. Yeah. What's next for you guys? What does the holidays look like? What does next year look like? Any shifts with like things in movement studio world?
The most important thing probably for me and my energy personally is making the decision to close twice a year
Good
for
for you.
2 weeks. I
Good
don't
for you.
take, you know, Labor Day, I don't take Veterans Day,
Balance.
but
It's
I've
important.
found that this is such an energy exchange for me.
Uh-huh.
And closing 2 weeks at Christmas and 2 weeks in the summer to spend time with my family,
Yeah.
to recharge my batteries,
Yeah.
only means good things for Movement Studio.
Yep.
And I also feel like female identifying business owners have a responsibility, that kind of not just self-care for saying I'm doing self-care, but actually living it out in a way that might be
Self-care is
uncomfortable.
become a very trendy word.
It is trendy, and I sort of question what it all means sometimes.
Yeah.
For me, it meant getting really uncomfortable with, like, kind of setting these hard boundaries for myself.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. I'm very, very fortunate that my members are, like, so supportive. They want me to have a break,
Yeah.
probably so they don't have to, like, do the sled push or something. Joke's on them when they come back, it's still gonna be here.
Got my coach isn't checking on me. I don't have to go to my workout today. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that and recharging.
Optional means optional. Yeah.
Recharging my batteries for 2022, because I think it's gonna be a big year I'm moving more into the nutrition realm, which I've stayed away from for a long time. But I recently completed kind of the gold standard in nutrition coaching and have started coaching a few clients through nutrition.
Very cool.
I'm here to tell you that it's important in our 20s, it's important in our 30s, it's important when we're having babies and nursing babies, but it is really important when perimenopause starts knocking on the door. It's a shift that requires strength training and nutrition and stress management. And so that's kind of the next thing that I'm focusing on. Not in a heavy-handed way. I never bring it up unless a client is interested in nutrition.
Sure.
We don't all want to focus on that, and some of us have some triggers around nutrition. But if that's something that you need help with, just like MVMNT Studio pioneered fitness in San Diego, MVMNT Studio is pioneering nutrition coaching in San Diego too.
So I love it. That's great, and it's a nice compliment, I would say, to shifting your health and mindset and relationship with moving your body, relationship with food, what that looks like when you come in and walk through these doors, or 2-door options. But again, it's the habits of, and I see that too in my office. Like, they start coming to the office, and again, when you work out or do things for your body, like chiropractic, or how you start making different decisions, you start seeing life a little differently. And it's, I'm sure, nice to be able to just, when someone brings it up, instead of having to send them elsewhere, you're like, I actually do it and I'm passionate about it. Let me help you with this. So very cool. I definitely can relate to the taking time off journey. I think in the beginning, when you own a business, you're just like, no, I'll take a weekend here, I'll take a week, but and you feel a responsibility, and you feel connected to the members, and you worry what they're going to say or how that's going to affect business too. And I think every time I've done it, if people have an issue, which are very few, it's like they're not people probably, and if for the most part they don't. And I think it's like you talked about being a female identified business owner. We are in a world of a lot of male energy business owners, and it's kind of cool to shift, because when you start to see other females do it, you give yourself permission to do it. And then also other females talk about things that are typically in the conversation of males of, how's business, what'd you collect, like numbers oriented, like, and it comes across as bragging in the female world. In the male world, it would never be bragging. It's just like normal. That's why I always ask my female business owner friends and chiropractic, I'm like, what'd you collect this month? Brag to me. Like, please know you can tell me if you have a big month. Call me, I want to hear that. Because it gives you permission to do that, and not in a space of judgment. And I think it's important to, as female business owners in our community, to make decisions, like you said, to be an example and give permission to people you're mentoring, like Michaela or other people in our office too. Very cool. Any last words for the people that are big fans of you and just happen to follow us for this?
I mean, so many, but
when are you starting a podcast? That's what I want to know, because I would listen.
Okay, if you'll be my first guest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe we'll have it together. I want to, you know what I really want? I want the microphone, I want the headphones, I want a video. Like, I want to
I have it right there at my Zoom station.
I know.
Do you want to, you just want to like.
No, I want the video. No, I want the video, and I want like the video, like
time podcast.
Just film me, Robin, then put it on your thing.
Thank you so much for having this great idea of these kind of collaborative talks. Thank you for including me in this process. And I would just say, your body is the only one you're ever getting for this entire life. So you might as well invest in it and give it some attention, so that when you're 80, you're not just stuck sitting in your chair, but you're out doing all the things that you want to do. Those are my parting words.
Great words.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for being here. And how can people get a hold of you if they want to contact you, connect with you, get to know more what this looks like, or book an intake session or assessment?
Assessments are always free. I say it's like the best money you'll never spend, because
it's a free coffee date essentially with her to get to know her.
And your body, you'll get a ton of information in that 45 minutes. DM me on Instagram, it's like the easiest way to get in touch with me, or you can go to my website, which is just MVMNTstudio.com. You can.
And the Instagram handle is, we're gonna tag you.
At MVMNT Studio SD.
Because,
San Diego.
yeah, the studio, I was thinking, yeah. What was it?
Excuse me, we don't need to focus on that.
No, SD.
Yes, there
SD.
is another movement studio out there,
But
but I would have been SD anyway.
Duh.
Yes, you have to add the SD. So
Great.
those are the two best ways.
Great. And our neighborhood is called, so people know. El Cerritos. Yeah. We're on Upper Boulevard, the 700 building.
Yeah.
She has a nice sign out front. Can't
Couple.
miss it.
Couple
Yeah. Well,
signs.
she gets 2 signs because she has the biggest square footage. She's very.
No, it's actually because I'm at the back.
Mhm.
I don't have like a front facing anything, so.
That's her. But it's really because she's Robin and she's the best, so she gets what she wants. Thank you so much,
Thank
Anne,
you.
for your time, and always appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.